Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be spending some time on the Amplifier Research CI00402 conducted RF test system. During today's video, we're going to start by going over a little bit about the system, including the components, connections on the front and the back, and then finally we'll move on to how to get the system operational with the EMCware software. During today's video, we'll be using the associated documentation from Amplifier Research, including the quick start guide as well as the user manual as references for this video, which we'll include a link for in the description below. Let's go ahead and let's start with taking a look at the front side of our CI00402 test system. Here you're going to find the front side of the Amplifier Research conducted RF test system. What you will notice is this system can be broken down to a few different components. Along the top, we have our off-on switch and then the emergency push button. This push button is easily compressed, and if you've made all the other necessary connections and the system is turning on, just try to decompress that emergency off button. Sometimes that can be the problem. Just below that, we have our Rigol DSA815 spectrum analyzer. And then just below to the left of that, we have the Rigol DSG815 signal generator. Both the spectrum analyzer and the signal generator cover from 9 kHz to 1.5 GHz. Below the Rigol equipment, there is a series of Type N connectors. Let's go ahead and let's start from the left and let's work our way right. The first connection we have is the monitor input. The next is going to be our amplifier input. To the right of that, we have our spectrum analyzer input. And then finally, we have our RF output. Looking along the bottom of the unit now, you will see the Amplifier Research 100A400A, 100 watt RF power amplifier. And this amplifier allows this system to meet a variety of different testing requirements, including IEC 61000-4-6, ISO 11452-4, MIL standard 461, and DO 160G. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the backside of the system. Here you'll find the backside of the conducted RF test system. Let's go ahead and let's start from the top of the unit and let's work our way down. Along the top, you will see the AC control panel. This panel should not require any modifications or adjustments and should arrive ready for testing. Let's go ahead now and let's look at the middle connections on the unit. Starting from the far left, you will see our USB interface connection, which we'll be using for today's video to control our test system. There are 2 series of Type N connections on the left and right side of the back of the unit. The first, on the left side, is the directional coupler input, and then below that, the RF amplifier out. Now taking a look at the connections on the right side, we have our SIG-Gen out and our RF amplifier in. These connections should be made already when you receive the equipment. However, they can be used to integrate external equipment, including RF power amplifiers, which we may spend some time on in a later video. In between the 2 series of Type N connections, you will see 4 SMA connectors, and these all relate to the dual directional coupler. This system has a built-in dual directional coupler from 10 kHz to 400 MHz at 250 watts. Finally, in the lower right hand corner, you will notice our system power input. Let's go ahead now and let's start up our test system and let's take a look at the EMCware software. Here you're going to find the EMCware software from Amplifier Research. We've already checked for updates and made sure our software is ready to go. Now we're going to spend some time briefly walking through this. We're not going to go through all the different options and testing capabilities with the software today. This is just going to be a very brief overview. So taking a look at our display right now, we have a few different series of drop downs: software mode, test option, AR system, and active test setup. Just below that, we have a series of icons: equipment, test setup, calibration, test, and then finally reports. When you go through and you are going to conduct some of the conducted immunity tests, whether it's for MIL Standard 461 or IEC 61000-4-6, the process will be very similar. You'll go ahead and start with equipment, test setup, and then you'll work through the calibration and the test. So now let's go ahead and let's look at the equipment briefly. Here you'll find the equipment menu, and this just allows you to add, remove, or modify different test systems and to view the different components. Taking a look on the left side of the screen, you'll see our system information. And the right side, you'll see the internal or external equipment associated with the test system. Now let's go ahead and let's take a brief look at the test setup menu. Here you'll find our test setup menu, and you will see there are 3 different tabs along the top of the screen. We have test parameters, signal routing, and EUT monitoring. Just as you would imagine, the test parameters tab allows you to choose and modify different testing criteria. You can also use the predefined test requirements and select those by the particular standard or requirement. You can see right now we have IEC 61000-4-6 level 2 selected. Now let's go ahead and let's run a quick check on our setup. To do that, go to the signal routing tab. And you can see right here, we have all the different pieces of equipment listed. Let's go ahead and let's select system test. Here you'll find the diagram which just illustrates the setup for IEC 61000-4-6 for level 2. So we've already ensured that is correct. So let's go ahead and let's hit continue. Excellent. So you can see right now we have all green check marks. Our system did pass the test, and all of our components are accounted for and communicating. All right, that should just about wrap it up for today. We began by talking through some of the different connections on the front and the back of the system, some of the different components built into the conducted RF test system. Then we went ahead and we started up our EMCware control software. We walked through some of the different capabilities of that software briefly. And then finally, we ran through a system test, just ensuring that our system is functioning and operating correctly. Please keep us in mind if you're ever in need of any rental conducted RF test systems, including the Amplifier Research CI 00402 in the video today. Thank you.